Say that Americans don't have a problem with Canadians, and we don't. But it seems like you have a problem with us. Because if I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants. American citizenship. For some reason, that's repellent to you Canadians. And I find that personally offensive, Premier.
Rhetoric from Jesse Waters is fucking embarrassing because this is how Russia talks about her neighbors. We were in a country called Afghanistan for 20 years and they kicked the shit out of us until we left. Everybody in the world does not want to be a US citizen. They want to be left the fuck alone. Donald Trump's new battle cry is he wants Canada to be the 51st state, despite polling indicating basically nobody in Canada has any interest here. Now I know consent has never been something that's important to Donald Trump or his supporters, but let's dive into why this is pretty fucking stupid. Start with the hilarious fact that in a fantasy land where this existed, this would mean the end of any Republican candidate ever being electable. Fundamentally swing the Electoral College away from the Republican Party, full stop. That is one of the things that makes this so fucking hilarious. Polling indicated that 82% of Canadians have no interest in joining the US, and 21% of Canadians would have supported Donald Trump in the last election. Also, let's touch on the fact that Canada is a 10-province constitutional monarchy, and Quebec still does not operate under the Canadian Constitution. They don't even really want to be part of Canada. Why the fuck would they want to be part of the United States? Now, in his latest press conference, Trump is talking about using economic coercion to bring Canada under the control of the US.
Assumption that you're serious about making Canada the 51st state of the United States. The leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state. You said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line,
the border.
And you take a look at what that looks like.
I want to say, and I quote, we don't need their cars, we don't need their lumber, we have massive fields of lumber, we don't need their lumber, we have to unrestrict them because stupid people put restrictions, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have, we don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. We are currently importing about 4.5 billion barrels of Canadian crude oil per day. U.S. energy is heavily reliant on Canada. Pretty much everybody knows this. If you like having nuclear power in the United States, a lot of that is thanks to Canada. Because Canada has always provided us with a large portion of the uranium that we use to power those plants. Outside of Canada just being a sovereign nation, this being fucking insane for the United States to be talking about, let's dive into how fucking dumb this actually is. Canada's infrastructure, their legal system, their healthcare system are really nothing like ours. Think about how much money it would cost simply to change every fucking street sign from kilometers per hour to miles per hour. Canada has her own dollar. She has her own trade agreement. She has her own national debt. How would it affect the U.S. economy to simply try to absorb all of that and then have this fucking orange potato figure it all out? Canada is also part of NATO. Pressure on them would create international backlash. Any type of military pressure on Canada could invoke Article 5. Trump thinks this would make the United States safer. All this really would do would be put us shoulder to shoulder with Russia. How would we handle Quebec? How would we handle their gun laws? How would we handle their universal health care? Answer to all of this is we wouldn't. This is not possible. This is not happening. So why in the fuck are we even talking about it? Listen to Fox News break this down. This is fucking embarrassing, and this should be gross to every single American, regardless of political affiliation.
Canada. At first I wanted it, and I tried to divide it into 2 states. But the fact that they don't want us to take them over makes me want to invade. I want to quench my imperialist thirst.
American, this should bother you regardless of party. And if you say, oh, he's just joking, he's just trolling, does he not have any fucking other thing to do with his time? Truly think about that. Do you want your next president embarrassing himself, embarrassing us on an international stage to troll other countries? Or do you want him to act like a fucking adult and the 80-year-old that he is?